Fantasy Football 101 on Sports Radio 1450 and sportsradio1450.com. Final week of the regular season, final week of fantasy football. Now, there are some other leagues that continue to go on into the playoffs. You do a redraft for your fantasy football team. Obviously, you just get players that are in the playoffs, which sounds interesting to me. Haven't done it yet, but it does sound interesting.
I have formulated a plan, and we haven't used it yet. I don't have a league like this, but I really want to have it at some point to where it's set up like that, where you play the entire regular season, and then the guys from your league, the top 6 or whatever, go to the playoffs, and then you have a redraft, and then what you would have to do is, I think, have kind of a redraft every week of the playoffs, with the guys that were on the teams of guys who got eliminated.
Right.
So every week you'd have to have a little redraft, but you're thinking, it's not that big of a deal because there'll only be like 4 guys and then 2 guys drafting.
Right.
So it would go pretty quick, and it'd be a way to kind of extend the fantasy football season, and I think it sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to try it in one of my leagues, but I have to get everybody to go for it.
Right, the more the merrier.
That's what I think.
The more games, the better, I think. And the hard part, I guess, would get everyone together to draft, on a weekly basis like that, because we have people in our league that aren't in this state.
Yeah. Well, I think for the playoff drafts, you would have to do it more. It would be a more like loose, casual phone conversations type of thing. Right. Kind of like, Mark, how your Vegas league drafted. You just kind of had a time limit.
Well, like
of
you said,
hours.
It won't be a 4-hour affair. There's only so many guys you can pick up.
Yeah. So it would go a lot smoother than but it get tricky because when you got down to the actual, it would go to the real Super Bowl. So then you would be essentially, you and your opponent would just have players from the 2 Super Bowl teams, and then that's when the strategy would kind of come in. Like, who could you draft early and foresee them going to the Super Bowl and keep them over on your side? So when you got to the Super Bowl, your opponent didn't have all the good players from those 2 teams. So I'd like to iron out a few more things and give it a shot one of these years. I think it sounds like fun.
Sounds good.
You iron it out, Eric, and then count me in.
Nice. We'll do it.
529-1450 is the phone number. Let's take a phone call. Good morning.
Oh.
How about this one? Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for the Fantasy Football 101.
All right, go ahead.
We'll transfer you.
Turn your radio down, please.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I got 2 defenses, the San Diego and the Denver Broncos, and I was just wondering which one is least likely to sit their players.
Good question.
Denver's least likely to sit their players. The Chargers have quite a few injuries, actually, on defense, and they're definitely going to rest some guys on defense, even probably more than they do on offense. And the Broncos, they need a win.
Denver, offensively, they're going to be without Scheffler. They're going to be without Marshall. So you'd think the defense, even though I know they're playing against them, they're going to have to do everything they can to keep Kansas City from scoring, which is not all that hard to begin with.
I was going to say, thankfully they have Kansas City.
But I really think Denver would be the team to play here.
Yeah, easily.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No problem. Good luck.
Thanks for the phone call. 529-1450 is the phone number. Let's take another one. Good morning. You're on Fantasy Football 101. Go ahead.
How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Hey, I just want to say I really appreciate the show. It's great on Saturday morning. I got my butt kicked this year.
Sorry.
It's still fun to get up in the morning and tune into you guys. And I'll just make a Super Bowl prediction. I'll say the Cowboys over San Diego. And I don't know if you guys have done your predictions for the Super Bowl yet, but I'll hang up and listen. Like I said, Happy New Year. You got a great show.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the phone call. 529-1450. What do you guys think about that? Bold. That is very bold.
Yeah.
Neither of the top seeds. Well, I guess San Diego's getting the 2, huh?
Yeah, I like that San Diego pick a lot. They might even take the whole thing. Not sure about Dallas, but, they could. In the NFC, who really, I know the Saints have the best record, but
I like
they're
the
not
Vikings
unbeatable.
all year until the last 3 weeks.
Right now, the best 2 teams in the NFC supposedly are the ones that looking the worst.
Yeah.
Of the playoff teams out of that division. So
I wouldn't want to play Philly. Right? They have a lot of.
I was going to say
they have a lot of weapons, and especially if you play them in Philly.
Yeah, Philly. I actually, I think was my preseason pick for Super Bowl, but then I changed it to Baltimore. But now I might go back to Philly. Hindsight, am I allowed to change my preseason pick right now?
Whatever you want.
All right.
What the heck? It's your
Billy.
pick.
It's not a preseason pick anymore.
Well,
It's a
right.
last week of the regular season.
So no, I
You
can't
would.
then. No is the answer. All
Well,
right.
I'm taking the Cleveland Browns. That's a bad decision.
One thing I want to ask you guys, I forgot who it was that brought it up, but someone said that there'll be a couple teams that will intentionally lay down to keep the Steelers from getting in. And I wonder what you think about that. Have you heard that?
No, I don't buy into that
I don't
conspiracy
hear
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's just, I don't agree with that at all either, but I heard that and I'm thinking, boy, you want to line some people up.
Who said that? Was it the Bengals owner, or was it?
I can't think of who
Or
it
was
was.
it the Steelers owner? Did the Steelers owner say, yeah, they're just going to lay down so
I
we
think
can't
it was
get in?
someone from the Steelers, and I thought that was a very, very poor thing to say, but
Well,
I just don't see it happening.
if that came out of the Steelers, front office, then I mean that's their own problem. You got to win more games, and you can't leave your fate up to other people. So you can cry about it all you want, but win games and you don't miss the playoffs.
And really, who's that scared of the Pittsburgh Steelers? They played average football basically all
Good point.
season.
Yeah, good point. They're
I mean, why all of a sudden in the playoffs you're like, oh no, not the Pittsburgh Steelers?
well, they are a good playoff team, but yeah, they've looked totally beatable this season. Not like the regular Steelers.
Yeah, defensively, they're just an average squad right now. Palomalo has missed a bunch of games, and I can't believe how much one man being out of a unit has affected it so much.
Oh, but that guy is everywhere though.
He does. He flies on the field, and that's the problem. They don't have that guy that covers the entire field now.
Right, his name gets called more than anyone on that team throughout a football game. I wouldn't want to play the Steelers in the playoffs because I see Big Ben operate that 2-minute offense better than anybody. He does not lose when the game's on the line. He just
Roethlisberger's
doesn't.
elite.
He just doesn't. It's crazy. He plays better in the final 2 minutes of a half or a game than he does the entire rest of the game. It's amazing.
If there's any question now, does Roethlisberger belong in with Manning, Brady? Yes.
I think so.
Absolutely. The guy's got 2 titles already. He's played, 5 seasons? I mean, this guy is right up there with anybody.
And he puts up points. And, I mean, every week. He doesn't really have bad games. Even if they lose, he didn't have. It's not because he had a bad game. Not usually.
No.
Not usually.
No, usually not his fault. I mean, he just went for over 500 a couple weeks ago. That you don't just do that. You know what I mean? Regular guys don't throw for over 500 ever.
Well, it'd be nice.